We are starting today's class, and today's class is about rates, ratios, proportion, scales and maps, and everything related to it. Now, the basic that we need to understand that when we talk about rates and we talk about ratios, we use the unitary method, the same method that we use in percentages when we were dealing with cost price and selling price. Maybe the cost price was given, we found the selling price. Similarly, the selling price was given, we found the cost price. The same was used when we were dealing with rates of exchange. We were dealing with different currencies. For example, we were dealing with dollars and euro. And there was a certain value that was given that $1 equals to 1.5 euro. I'm just giving you an example. So how much is $100 worth? We say it's E, and then we again apply the concept of ratios. Now, based upon the same principle, we can do many other questions. For example, we know that distance is equals to speed into time. Now, the unit for distance could be kilometers. The units for speed could be kilometer per hour. The unit for time could be hour. Now, when we look at this formula, in the hour will cancel out and we'll be left with kilometers and kilometers. That means this formula makes sense. So distance is speed into time. Similarly, if I make speed the subject, that is distance divided by time. Again, double check the unit. Speed is in kilometers per hour. Distance is in kilometers. Time is in hour. If I make time the subject of the equation, that is distance divided by speed. Let's also check this out. So the unit of time is hours. The unit of distance is kilometer. Speed is kilometers per hour. So when we do the division, what happens? Kilometer on the left remains at the top. The division sign changes into multiplication. R goes up, kilometer comes down. Again, we can do the cancellation. We are left with an R on the left. We are left with an R on the right. Again, this formula is correct. So let me highlight this. Distance is speed into time. Speed is distance divided by time. Similarly, we can say time equals to distance divided by speed. In fact, in reality, this is just one single formula. It depends on how you make the subject. Also, if we talk about units, so we should be well versed in changing the units. We know that 1 kilometer equals to 1,000 meters equals to 10 millimeters. So this is the conversion that's needed. So now if I write kilometers, meters, centimeters, millimeters, if I want to convert from kilometers to meters, multiply with 1,000, meters to centimeters, multiplying with 100, centimeters to millimeters, multiplying with 10. Look at the number of zeros, 3 zeros, 2 0, a single zero. When we go in this direction from centimeter to millimeter, it's the opposite. That's division by 10. Centimeter to meter, that is division by 100. Meter to kilometer, that is division by 1,000. Again, it's the rule like this. And maybe some other conversion. For example, 1 kilogram, that is 1,000 grams. And that is what we need over here. Similarly, when we talk about time, we know that 1 hour has 60 minutes. 1 minute has 60 seconds. Therefore, if I write hours, minutes, seconds. So if I go this minutes, minutes into seconds, and we have to. Now let's look at this particular question. Let me first read it. Let me grab a highlighter and let me start with this. A rope is cut into two pieces in the ratio 3:2. The longer piece is 9.6 meter long. Find the length of the shorter piece. Now, first of all, let me show this question, the solution to this question in two methods. Method one, method two. Now, the first method, let me use algebra, just the basics of algebra. If I say that the total length of this rope is L, therefore it's in a ratio of 3:2. This is large, the longer one, this is the shorter one. The fraction representing longer is 3 divided by 3 plus 2, which is 3/5. Therefore, 3/5 of this length L should equal to how much? That is 9.6. So this is max. Therefore, if I make L the subject, that 9.6 into 9 divided by 3 is 3. And this 0.6 divided by 3 is 0.2. In other words, 9.6 divided by 3 is 3.2. So basically what I did, I broke up 9.6 into 9 plus 0.6. 3 from here, 0.2 from here. This is what I get. You can do it in any which way you find comfortable. So 9.6 divided by 3, that is 3.2. And multiplication by 5. So that comes out to be 3 plus 0.2 into 5. That is 5 3s are 15. And 5 into 0.2, that is 1. So therefore, this comes out to be 16 meters. That is the length of the larger piece. And that is exactly what they are looking for. Actually, they're looking for the shorter piece. Longer piece is 9.6 meter. They are looking for the shorter piece. So in other words, what we can do is that 2/5 of L should equal to this value, which is not given over here. So this is 16. That is the total length, and 2/5 of L is 2/5 into 16. That is 5 ones are 5 into 3.2. That comes out to be 6.4 meters. That is the shorter piece. Now this method is long, and they're giving us only 1 mark for this method. So what should be the easier method? Naturally, the easier method is what this topic is all about. That is the ratio method. You write longer, shorter. Longer piece is 3 and shorter piece is 2. That is the simplest ratio. And the longer piece is 9.6 meter long. Shorter piece, let's call it S. So all we have to do is to do direct proportion like this and like this. So 3S is equals to 2 into 9.6. Therefore, S is equals to 2 into 9.6. Let me remove the multiplication sign. Brackets are better. So let me write a bracket over here and divide by 3. So therefore, 2 into 3.2, that comes out to be 6.4 meter. This is the short and sweet method for this particular question. Now, let me pause the recording for a moment and let me ask you. Now, let's look at this question. The second question is calculate 5/8 of $14. So now, first of all, let me write part A. This is 5/8 of means multiplication, and $14 can simply be written as 14. So 2 4s are 2 7s are 5 into 7 is 35. 35 divided by 4. So let me write 35 on the inside, 4 on the outside. This is 4 8s are 32. 3 is left. Let's put a decimal over here. And that brings us a 0 over here. So 4 7s are 28. 2 is left. Let me write a 0 again. 4 into 5 is 25. 4 into 5 is 20. So the remainder is 0. So therefore, the answer is 8.75. That's one approach. That is the answer. Alternative method. If I want to do the working in fractions, so I'll write 35. I'll write 4 on the outside. Let me just clearly write this 4 over here. This looks like a 2. So this is a 4. And now 4 7s are 28, 4 8s are 32. So I'm writing 8 over here. This is 32, and I'm left with a 3. This is known as divisor. This is known as quotient. And this is known as remainder. So whenever we change from an improper fraction, 35/4 is an improper fraction, into a mixed number. So a mixed number is basically quotient, remainder, divisor. What is the quotient? The quotient is 8. What is the remainder? That is 3. What is the divisor? That is 4. So I can write it like this also. Naturally, these two values are the same. I can convert this 3/4 into 0.75. So $8.75. That is the answer for this particular part. Now let's look at the second part. Now the second part says, express the ratio 400 meters to 3 kilometers in its simplest form, and this knowledge will also be used in scales and maps. 400 meters to 3 kilometers. Now, first of all, part B, let me write 400 meters. Let me write 3 kilometers. Now, there are two options. Either I can work in meters or I can work in kilometers. Which one is easier? The easier option is 3 to 1,000 meters. 3 kilometers is 3 necessary that the units are the same. You have to make sure that the units are the same. If not, make them same. How do you make them same? By doing the conversion. So now when I divide 400 divided by 3,000, so the zeros cancels off. So let me write this thing in blue. So this and this cancels off with this. So we are left with 4/30, which can be simplified to 2:15. They are asking for the simplest ratio. This is 2, this is 15. And make sure to write the answers over here. This is $8.75. That is the first one. So that's how this is. And let's understand 34 and per second. Now the examiner is someone that my voice, please confirm. Now let's continue. Now in this particular question, the examiner is specifically telling us what the examiner wants, and it's for 2 marks. Now, first of all, the distance is given in kilometers, so that's 144 kilometers. Let's multiply with 1000. So that becomes 144,000 meters. And meters per second, HRs. So I can convert HRs and I'll multiply it with 60. So I'll convert it into minutes. Again, multiply it with 60. I'll convert it into seconds. So there are two 60s over here. So therefore, hours into seconds is multiplication by 3600. So we are left with 144 that will come later on. HRs is basically 3600 H seconds. I have taken HRs, I've multiplied with 60 to convert it into minutes, again multiplied by 60 to convert it into seconds. So this is 3600 seconds. Now, the formula for speed, that is distance divided by time. So this is distance divided by time. Distance is in meters, that is 144,000. Time is in seconds, that is 3600 H seconds. Now cancel out the extra zeros, these two zeros, they cancel out. Now I'm left with 1440 divided by 36H. Now, can I cancel further? The answer is yes. 144 is basically 72 into 2. That is 36 into 2 into 2. So I have written 72 as 36 into 2. So basically 36 into 4 is 144. So therefore, we have 144. The 0 is extra. Let me write it on the side. Divided by 36H. So 144 divided by 36. The answer is 40 over H. And the answer is meters per second. That is exactly what they're asking. The write down in its simplest form an expression in terms of H for its average speed. So the average speed is 40 over H meters per second. Let's move on. Let's do the next question. The next question says, the ratio of Saeed age to his mother's age is 2:7. So this is Saeed. This is his mother's age. Saeed is 14 years old. How old is his mother? So part A, Saeed is to mother. That's 2:7. Saeed is 14 years old. His mother's age is M. So cross multiply like this. And therefore, what do we have? 2M equals to 7 multiplying with 14. Therefore, M is 7 into 14 divided by 2. So therefore, this is 2 ones are, 2 sevens are, 7 sevens are 49. So M comes out to be 49 and the unit is years. That is the answer for this one. Now let's move on to the next question. The next question, that is this one. That is about the ratio of Fatma's age to her father's age is 3:8. So that's Fatma and that is father. Let me write R over here. So Fatma is to father. I'm using the symbol R for father. This is Fatima. And this is father. Now it says the ratio is 3:8. What is being asked? The total of the ages is 66 years. Now this is something new. The total of the ages is 66 years. How old is Fatma? Now this is something more like if this is X and therefore this is Y. This is their respective ages. But we know that X plus y equals to 66. That's another equation that we have. So basically, rather than arithmetic, it's an algebra-based question involving simultaneous equation. So when we cross multiply like this, we have 8x is equals to 3y. Either I make x the subject or I can make y the subject. That is 3 over 8y. That is how we express one h in terms of the other. Let me say this as equation 1, this is equation 2, and let me solve it out. So x plus y is equals to 66. X is x, y is 3 over 8. Y is equals to 66. Let's multiply 8 multiplying 66, that's 528. And this is my bad. Let me just go back. I think I replaced the wrong variable. So I wrote x plus y is 66. Now I have to replace this with x. X has to be replaced. So 3 over 8y plus y equals to 66. Multiply by 8. So therefore 3y plus 8y is equals to 8 into 66. Now it's not necessary that I multiply it out because this is a paper 1 question. So I should refrain from using the calculator. This is 11y is equals to 8 into 66. Make y the subject. That is 8 into 66 divided by 11. And then we have 11 ones are, 11 six are, 6 into 8 is 48. So therefore y comes out to be 48. Now what is y? Y is father's age. What are we looking for? Fatma's age. So we know that either I can use this equation or I can use this equation. So if I use this equation, x is 3 over 8y, x is 3 over 8 of 48. 8 ones are, 8 six are, 3 into 6 is 18. Therefore, this is Fatma's age. That is 18 years. Or what's the other way? We know that x plus y is equals to 66. X plus 48 equals to 66. X is 66 minus 48, which comes out to be 18. That is again Fatma's age. So we can plug it in any one of the two equations. So the first question was basically about ratios. The second question was about forming a simultaneous equation and working it out. Now, let me grab this question and let me explain the second part in one other way. Let me add a page over here. Let me remove all the extra stuff. And my focus is on the second part only. Now the question says, let me read it again. The ratio of Fatma's age to her father's age is 3:8. So this is Fatma. This is father. The ratio is 3:8. Now, in one of the questions, we have used algebra in a different sense. Now, how old is Fatma? We know the total is 66. So Fatma's fraction is 3 divided by 3 plus 8, which comes out to be 3 over 11. And when we talk about her father's age is 8 out of 3 plus 8, which is 8 over 11. So as such, there is no algebra needed if we go this way. So the total is 66. So 3 over 11 into 66. That is 11 ones are, 11 six are. 3 into 6 is 18 years. So this can be done this way. And if they were asking for the father's age, 8/11 of 66. So 11 ones are, 11 six are, 8 six are, 48. that is the father's age. The total adds up to 66. So the total is 66 years of age. That's how this question is done. So yes, there is this option also, that is about algebra. If it's X and Y, that's how you can work it out. But basic arithmetic, ratios rule the game once again. So ratios really makes things simpler. Now let's move on to this particular question. The question says, I'm focusing on the first part now. Sarah sets out on a journey at 10:50. She travels 65 kilometers at an average speed of 20 kilometers per hour. At what time does she complete her journey? Now, there is this time thing associated over here. That is the 24-hour clock. That knowledge will be used. But at the same time, this average speed knowledge is also used. So now when we talk about part A, there are two ways in which I can work it out. Let's focus on method one. That is using the formula, distance is speed into time. And then we can make one of them the subject. So distance is 65 and the speed is 20. So this is 65, this is 20. Let the time be t. So 65 divided by 20 equals to t. 5 into 13, 5 into 4. 13 divided by 4, that is 13 on the inside, 4 on the outside. 4 threes are 12. Remainder is 1. Quotient, remainder, divisor. So this is quotient is 3, not 4. This is 3/1/4 or 3.25 of an hour. Now the journey started at 10:50. So therefore 10:50, and then we have to add 3.25 of an hour. That means 3 hours and 1/4 of an hour. That's 3 hours and 1/4 of 60 minutes. That's 3 hours and 15 minutes. So what we can do is that let's take this 15 minutes. First, add the 15 minutes. So 10:50 plus 15, we cannot do the addition like this because after 10 minutes, it will become 11 o'clock. So this is 11:05. And then adding 3 hours to it. So 11/5 plus 3 hours. So let me just write it over here. So 11/5 plus 3 hours, that comes out to be 14:05. That is the time at which the journey will be completed. Now let's focus on method 2. Just for this particular part, something to do with ratios once again. So if I talk about ratio, what does 20 kilometer per hour means? 20 kilometer per hour, what is actually mean is that 1 hour, the car or whatever, Sarah, can complete 20 kilometers. So let me write time in hours. Let me write distance in kilometers. So if someone does not want to use this particular formula, that is over here. If someone is not interested in this formula, they can work in ratios. So now over here, I can write 1 hour 20 kilometers, 65 kilometers, t hours. Let me do the cross multiplication. So t into 65 is 20, t into 20. So let me just write it properly. T into 20, it's 65 into 1. Therefore, t comes out to be 65 into 1 divided by 20. We get the same answer, that is 3.25 of an hour, or that converts to 3 hours and 15 minutes. Rest of the working is the same as before, just like this. So now there are two ways of doing it. Either use the formula, distance of speed into time, and then make time the subject, or use the concept of ratios, and that's how this working is done. Now, in your respective groups, just put a tick mark, just write acknowledged that everything is up to the mark. Till then, I'm pausing the class. Now, let's move on. Let's look at this question. Now, the question says, the ratio of boys to girls in a class is 4:5. What fraction of the class are boys? ये तो simple सा question है. This is boys. This is girls. 4 plus 5, that comes out to be 9. Therefore, boys is 4 out of 9. Second part, the ratio of boys to girls in a school. So this is boys, this is girls, and this is in a school. Is 3:4. There are 120 more girls than boys. How many students are in the school? So now part B, there is boys, there is girls, this is 3, this is 4. And now it says there are 120 more girls than boys. So if boys is B, girls is 120 plus B. I'm writing it like this. That is the ratio between the two. So let's cross multiply. So therefore, 3 into 120 plus B equals to 4B. 360 plus 3B is equals to 4B. 360 equals to 4B minus 3B. Therefore, 360 is equals to B. That's how many boys are there. And how many girls are there? So if I write girls, the symbol I have used is B plus 120 or 120 plus B. So 120 makes sense because it's in a ratio of 3:4. So boys is 360, girls is 480. Let's first double check the ratio, cancel off the zeros, divide by 12, divide by 12, that is 3:4. So I have already double checked the answer. The question is, what is the total? So 360 plus 480, that comes out to be 840. That is the total number of students in that particular school. Now let's double check if everyone is up to the mark. Let me go over it once again. The first part was really basic. The second part is what I'm working on. The ratio of boys to girls in a school is 3:4. There are 120 more girls than boys. So girls are 120 more. If the boys are B, girls are 120 plus. And then I did cross multiplication and I found B. B is 360. Girls is 480. This part is just for double checking. So let me just focus on this. This part over here, this is for double checking purposes. As such, it was not required. So it's for your own good that you have double checked. The working is B is 360. Girls is 480. That's 120 more. Total is. Now this question is done. Now let's focus on this question. The question says, a car manufacturer states that the particular car uses 5 liters of fuel in traveling 100 kilometers and produces 110 grams of carbon dioxide for each kilometer traveled. Use this information to calculate the mass of carbon dioxide produced by 1 liter of fuel. Now, this is some basic ratio proportion once again, and just look at the variety of questions. When we are talking about ratios, there is a whole variety of questions that they can come up with. Now, what should we do? First of all, 100 kilometers, that's on 5 liters of fuel. And we are talking about 1 liter of fuel. So the first ratio is liter and kilometer. So 100 kilometers is on 5 liters of fuel. Therefore, on 1 liter, let me say I'll be traveling K kilometers. So the first ratio proportion is like this, 5K, that is 100 into 1. So K comes out to be 100 into 1 divided by 5. That comes out to be 20 kilometers. That is the answer for the first part. Now, the second part. The number of carbon dioxide produced, the amount of carbon dioxide produced is 110 grams for each kilometer traveled. So since we are traveling 20 kilometers, so again, let me write carbon dioxide in grams, and we are talking about distance in kilometers. Over here, the fuel, the unit was in liters, and the distance was in kilometers. So this is how it is. Now, when we are talking about 110 grams for how many kilometers? For each kilometer travel, that means 1 kilometer. Therefore, if I am talking about 20 kilometers, carbon dioxide, let me write C over here and let me cross multiply. So therefore, C into 1 is 20 into 110. So that is 2 into 10 into 11 into 10. I'm just breaking it up. Let me take 2 from here. Let me take 11 from here. That comes out to be 22. Let me take this 0, that is 2200. This is grams of carbon dioxide produced. Are they asking in grams? No, they're asking in kilograms. So 2200 divided by 1000, that is kilogram. The zeros cancel out and we are left with 2.2 kilogram. That is how much of carbon dioxide is produced. Now go through every single detail. The question was only for 2 marks, but remember, every mark is worth it. You cannot underestimate the mark. The paper 1, that is for 80 marks. And that time duration is 2 hours. And then we have paper 2, that is for 100 marks. And the time duration is 2.5 hours. This is up till 2024. In 2025, this will also become a 100-mark paper. So this is a paper 1 question. Every single mark count. So what we have done so far, we have first did, this is step 1. Let me write it down. Step 1 was about liters and kilometers. This was given, that is 5 liter works for 100 kilometers. Therefore, for 1 liter, the distance that it will travel is K. K comes out to be 20 kilometers. And then this is step number 2. Step number 2 is carbon dioxide produced in grams and the distance in kilometers. 110 grams for 1 kilometer. For 20 kilometers, that is C. Calculation, that gives us 2200 grams. But since the answer is asked in kilogram, this is unit conversion. So this is unit conversion. And what is the conversion? The conversion is from grams to kilograms. And what do? We divide by 3 zeros. 2 zeros get cancelled out. And then we move 1 decimal to the left. And this is the answer, 2.2 kg. So that's how this part is done. Now let's move to this question. This question is about some, again, personal finance. So this also falls into the same category. It's about dollars and euros and personal finance. And in the last class, online class, we did questions regarding simple interest. We did questions regarding compound interest. We use these formulas. And naturally, we have done percentages. Naturally, we are doing, once again, ratios. And all these things, they are very, very much interconnected. Now, let's focus on the flights to Sydney. The cost per person is $11.99. Accommodation, that means the hoteling cost. That is cost per adult per night. That is $55. And then cost per child per night is $40. And then we are talking about insurance cover for up to 20 days. Cost per adult 40, cost per child 30, or cost for a family of 2 adults and up to 4 children. It could be 4, it could be 3, 2, 1. So that is $155 flat. Now it says a family of 2 adults and 3 children travel to Sydney for a holiday lasting 14 nights. Now, let me first emphasize on the fact 2 adults, 3 children, this is up to 4 children. Yes, they belong to this category. So this category is perfectly fine. And it's lasting 14 nights. Insurance cover is for up to 20 days. Yes, this also makes sense. So the amount won't be reduced. Yes, if you were staying for more than 20 days, then you needed to pay extra money, but now you don't have to. Calculate the lowest total cost of flight, accommodation, and insurance for their holidays. Now, first of all, there is no option. There is no option. The only option is over here. So first of all, our cost per person flights to Sydney, that is fixed. So 2 plus 3 is 5. So if I talk about flights, and it looks like a paper 2 question, yes, it is. So you can sense a paper 2 question right away. So let me grab my calculator, 1199 into 5. So 5 into 1199, 1199 into 5, that is $5995. $5995. That is the first thing that I'm interested in. Let me highlight it. That is the cost of the flights. Now, the second one, that is the hotel, the accommodation. Now, how many adults are there? 2. How many children are there? 3. So 2 into 55, 3 into 40. So that is 2 into 55 plus 3 into 40. This comes out to be 120. This comes out to be 110. This comes out to be $230. That is the cost for accommodation. Now, when we talk about insurance, there are 2 options. There is a family insurance, and then there is a per person insurance. So now let me write both the options. This is per person and this is family. So this is per person, and let me use a different color over here, and this is family insurance. So now when we're talking about per person, so 2 into 40 plus 3 into 30. This 3, let me remind you, this is for the child, this is for the adult, this is for the child, this is for the adult. This was the respective cost in accommodation. This is the respective cost in per person, and this we are talking about insurance. So this is insurance over here. Let me just highlight it like this. And this applies here, this applies here. So therefore, 2 into 40, that is 80. 3 into 30 is 90. That is $170. Let me highlight this one. This is 170. And the family insurance is 155. So the family insurance is a flat rate of 155. So which is the cheaper option? Naturally, the cheaper option is this one by $15. What are they asking? Lowest total cost. Let me pick this, let me pick this, and let me pick this. So 155 is at the bottom, and then 230 is for the accommodation. And what do we have? 5995 for the flights. So the flights are the most expensive one. 5995 plus 230 plus 155. So the total cost is $6380. We don't even have to include this value because we already judged it that this is the lowest one. So just use this one. Now let's look at this part. Now the question says, they are talking about 2 kinds of cars. There is the bonus cars, and then there is the value car. The bonus car runs for 42 per day for any mileage, and the value car, they run for how much? $20 per day and 0.5 per mile. Again, finance question. The family hires a car for 14 days and estimates the total mileage will be 750 miles. Which company charges less for hire and by how much? So they're asking less is which company and by how much. So first of all, let's focus on the bonus car. When we talk about the bonus car, that is 42 into 14. That's a simple multiplication. So 42 into 14, that is $588. That is for this particular option. When we talk about the value car, that is 20 into 14, that is $280. And mileage is $0.5 per mile. So therefore, dollars, mile, $0.5 for 1 mile. Therefore, for 750 mile, we will be using D dollars. So let's cross multiply. That is D into 1. This is 0.5 into 750. That comes out to be $375. That is the second thing. So I've gotten this value. Let me just focus on this. This is the cost for mileage, and this is the cost for how much? The per day charges. So therefore, the total cost for these is 280 plus 375. So first of all, let me add this. So this comes out to be $655. That is the answer for this particular part. Let me highlight this answer. Now, which one is lesser? This one is lesser. This is the better option. And by how much? So when they are asking for by how much, that means they are asking for the difference. So 655 minus 588. So minus 588. This comes out to be $67. Yes, it's a huge difference of $67. That's how this part is completed. Now let's talk about scales and maps. And that also falls into the same category. That is about scales and maps. Now, let me make a separate recording for this one.